Welcome back. Today's episode is going to be full of knowledge as well as so exciting as we dive into nutrition. Megan Dunstan is an exceptional nutritionist, and she gives us the real behind the scenes of what our bodies need, as well as how to scale and really bring our nutrition to the next level. We dive into all types of topics, and I'm so excited for you to listen.
Hey,
How's it going?
good. How are you doing?
Good. Long time no see.
I know. I think the last time I saw you, you were doing the makeup at my wedding.
I think you're right.
That was over 2 years ago.
That's insane. Oh my God.
That's kind of sad.
I know. Well, also we've been in a pandemic for a year. That's my excuse now.
I know.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I feel like our whole social lives have completely changed, and this is how we have to see each other, right? Because
Yeah,
it's all
basically.
virtual now. Why don't you kind of do like a little summary about like the industry that you're in, like the business that you started, and like how you kind of got into it, how you were like, you've been in school for a long time learning all of this. So kind of talk about your journey of how you got to where you are now.
Yeah, so it's been an interesting journey. And you know what? I think like I've been through a lot of like hard times that kind of led me to the path I'm on now. And I don't know, it's so strange because it started with nursing. I didn't know what I was going to do after high school. I was going to go to school to be a forensic scientist. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be like a CSI girl. This is awesome. Right? Just because like the anatomy was really interesting to me. And anyways, I ended up experiencing a trauma and no longer wanted to be that far away from home. So instead, I decided to take a year. I would do part-time studies at Lakehead University. And I actually met my husband like right before starting at Lakehead. And then we kind of just guided each other through the next couple of years. People suggested that I be a nurse. And I'm like, I don't want to empty bedpans and like, get orders from doctors. That's horrible. But anyways, there's a lot more to it than that. That's not accurate at all. So I went through schooling to become a nurse and graduated, loved it. And I still love it. Like I still do nursing. But while I was nursing, I ended up having to have knee surgeries. One turned into 3. And it turned out that I had a lot of time off. I wasn't able to nurse because of my physical restrictions. So one day my sister came over. I was laying in the hospital bed at my apartment because yes, I was in a hospital bed for months on end. And she was like, I'm curious about a change in my career. And I'm like, oh, cool. I'm going to do research for you. And anyways, I started doing all of this research and I came across nutrition. So I got all the information together, pitched the idea to her. And while I was pitching it to her, I was like, oh no, I think I want to do this. I was like, I really hope she doesn't want to do this because I am like so signing up tomorrow for this. So anyways, she was interested in it, but she wasn't ready to take the leap. So I'm like, I'm taking it. So anyways, I ended up having surgeries while I was in school as well. So my, year plan of graduating turned into almost 3 years because I had to have 2 surgeries in between. But anyways, it gave me the opportunity to just like go more in depth and really start applying what I was learning into my life. So anyways, then I graduated and I always was telling people like, I think I'll like start a business with this. Like I would like to do what I want to do, right? Like kind of bring this, I don't know, this change, this just like wake up to other people. So that's where Nutrition with Meg came in. And like trying to figure out what kind of I was going to focus on. It was hard because I have so many interests and I just want to help so many people. Mm-hmm. So really what it's kind of naturally developed into is more so a lifestyle. So it's not so much just using nutrition to help people, or to address one specific issue, but it's more so using diet, lifestyle changes, mindset, the people that you surround yourself with, everything. Just kind of bringing all of this in to create wellness. So, what Nutrition with Meg does is the goal is to educate, guide, and just support people as they transition through whatever they're going through. It can be, from one end of the spectrum to the other, but it's just education and support so that you can experience wellness.
I love
And
that.
not just wellness now, but like wellness that you're going to be able to carry through your entire life. And so at 70 years old, you don't feel like an old fart, right?
Yeah.
You have that vitality and that longevity, and you've passed these healthy habits on to your children and your grandchildren. And all of a sudden, we're changing the norm. And instead of, being obese and in the hospital or a long-term care facility at 70 or 80, we're living our lives and we're feeling well for our entire lives, not just a short time when we're in our 20s and 30s.
I love that message so much, because I think of for example, I look at people individually and how they were brought up, and how I look at my mom, for example. I was fortunate, she was a stay-at-home mom and she worked from home, but we'd come home and she'd have vegetables ready as because we were ready to rip the fridge door off when we came home from school. So it was we needed to eat before dinner, right? So she'd always have vegetables or something healthy there for us, and that was our routine. I know some of my friends their parents would buy them all this junk food, and we used to get different things that people wouldn't eat normally, and we would actually trade them for fruit roll-ups and all this stuff on the bus. And mom was like, wow, you guys really like this healthy food, and kept giving it to us. But some kids, I felt, never had those treats, that actual healthy food that was benefiting them. So I definitely agree with you, and getting that into a routine at a young age, and then having that throughout your whole life.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that so much of it is learned behavior, right? And I mean, unfortunately, we have added stress. People need to work more. Being healthy and providing your kids the healthiest of healthy, it's not that easy. It's hard and it's expensive. So trying to work it in that it becomes a norm. It's not hard, it's your norm, and trying to figure out how it can be cost effective. Those are things that are top priority for how to work it into the home. And then, yeah, those children, they're going to grow up with that as their norm, right? They're not going to be growing up with, fruit roll-ups or boxed cereal, or, the food you buy in the freezer section and you throw it in the microwave. That's not going to be a norm for them. They're going to thrive on, proper nutrients.
But that's the other thing, talking about nutrition and stuff, is you can start now. You don't have to be one of those people that were born and brought into it. I find I have a couple of girlfriends that have kids now, and they're saying it's so hard to have that into the routine. You get home from work, you got to pick up the kids, but there's smart ways like Pinterest and Crock-Pot. There's so many different things that you can do to bring that into your routine.
Oh, for sure. And that's something that I'm going to be incorporating into my programs. I'm not only going to be developing programs for individuals, but also for households. So, how to bring nutrition and eating well into the home and make it part of your routine and make it fun for the kids and even educational for the kids. I mean, I really don't remember learning about nutrition when I was a kid. I remember learning how to brush my teeth. Yeah, it was a big thing, but I don't remember anything about food.
No. And even my cooking skills, John and I now moving in together and not being able to eat out all the time like we were when we were in Toronto. And I am not a good cook because my mom always did it. So I'm always asking John, I'm eat it first. Tell me, is it good? I need that reassuring that it's edible. I'll eat anything. I'm not picky, but I'm also realizing I put way too much garlic and onion and things, but I'm it's good for our immune system. It's fine.
It's good for the
Yeah, it's good. That is something I'm finding, because I also suffer really bad from allergies, which normally it's because of gluten and dairy. So my sense, like to taste and to smell, sometimes aren't as strong as what it would be for someone else. So I feel like I like overcompromise when it comes to garlic and onions and all that kind of stuff. But
That is so funny. You know what? I'm guilty for garlic and onion. And it's just simply because Mac and I just love it so much. Like
I like it too. Yeah.
it's so good. Like I don't know if you ever had my mom's Caesar salad,
Yes.
but it like burns your mouth.
I think I had it in Tomogamy once.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I love it. And I grew up on a lot of garlic and yeah, I'll take it easy when people come to visit. But other than that, I'm like basically garlic and onion in every meal.
Oh yeah, I agree with you. Now, from a nutritionist point, like you said, it is beneficial though. To
Oh, for sure. Garlic and onions. Yeah, they have lactic acid in them. It's really good just for your entire system. So it's good for your gut. It's good for your liver. Actually, it's very good for your liver.
no.
And liver being one of the organ systems that's under the most strain. I think every single one of my clients has had a sluggish liver, and that includes me, right? Like and that, well, used to be me, but like I needed to add support for my liver, for instance, right? So yeah, no, garlic and onion, keep it up.
Well, there was a time where I wasn't even like I had a really bad liver for whatever reason. I don't know if it's just genetics or what, but I never used to even drink because I was like, it was like even though it's not like a huge strain on it right away if you're having a drink here and there, but I like didn't drink for over 2 years because I just needed to reset my whole system. I was going to a naturopath. I was trying to do all these things because my allergies I was on a steroid for my allergies for 2 years. And
Wow.
it was so bad. And I swear I'm allergic to work, my job. That's what I say too, because the scent, I'm allergic to anything that releases scent. And I
No.
never got into having allergies until I got into the industry. So with food, I was able to control my allergies. So I was able to get off of my medication. So it is a medicine, right? Our food is what we put into our bodies is so
Oh,
important.
for sure it is. And like allergies, for instance, people are like, oh, well, I didn't used to have an allergy to this, and now all of a sudden I do. I don't believe that. But it's like, but your system has been overloaded. And what it could handle before, it can no longer handle because it's too busy dealing with everything else. So
100%.
yeah, it is medicine. It truly is. Like every single thing that's wrong with your body, like it's directly linked to your food and what you're consuming and how you're treating your body. Like it's just, I don't know, it's like literally mind blowing how connected what we're eating is to how our bodies function and how we feel, right? Like my husband and I, like we're very self-aware of like what foods don't make us feel good because of what we're used to. Like
Mhm.
it's, I don't know, it's just it's amazing. And I think that you don't realize the power that it has until you actually deal with like a nutritionist or a naturopath or someone to try to fix a problem that's existing. And I mean, some of the problems that you have, you don't even know that they're problems, right? Like one of the huge things that people don't understand is like PMS symptoms. They're
Yes.
like,
Yes.
we're women. Of course, we're moody and bloated and we have pain and, you know, all those things under the sun. It's like, no, actually, you don't need to have any of those symptoms. It's just that your body's responding to things that you haven't provided it, right? Or things that you've given it too much of.
It's so funny you brought this up. I just listened to a podcast I'm getting into like biohacking a little bit more, doing some research and stuff.
Nice.
And one of the podcasts was like that because she was talking about like PMSing and all those type of things and like the salt content of food that we're eating before and actually what part of our cycles we should be doing certain activities in. So like whether it's working out or your creative stages and like all these different things. And I've been trying to follow that a little bit more. And
Yeah.
my productivity has just gone up so much in that, like I would say a couple months since I've been being more like mindful of it.
Oh yeah, I completely like it's called cycle syncing, right?
Yes.
Like I 100% cycle sync. Like when I wake up in the morning and it's like, oh, what do I want to have for breakfast? I look at my chart and I'm like, oh, oatmeal would be really good for my cycle. that's what I'm going to have. Or, this time of the cycle, I need to have eggs. That's fine. And like, yeah, my workouts, like I go super intense for the first like two phases of the cycle, and then, start slowing it down
Yeah.
during the end. Like it's so beneficial, and you just feel so much better. Like instead of feeling like, you're working out in the middle of your period and you're like, oh, why don't I have energy? Why don't I feel good? It's like,
Yeah.
because your body's really busy right now. You need to give it some love and relax.
Yeah, exactly. And I think even with entrepreneurs or even like anyone dealing with like PMS and all that, those different things that we go through as women, I think people need to realize that they can cope with it in different ways, and going on medication or taking Tylenol, things like that, that can help it. And
Oh,
that's
yeah.
where I think it's so important for people to realize, like, as entrepreneurs, to plan your food. Like, you have to take it as serious as your business. I remember a couple years ago, my New Year's resolution was to give myself an hour for lunch, because I would work like 12-hour days or longer without even eating sometimes. And I was like, oh my God, I'm destroying my body. And
Yeah.
my mind and just everything about it was not good. So that was like the biggest thing when I do mentor calls with people. I'm always like, give yourself an hour lunch. Even giving yourself time to eat and to get outside or go for that hour walk just to break up your day is so important. And with us working from home now, I feel like we're living at work. We're like, basically our work is home now and our home
Yeah.
is work. So we're just thinking about it all the time. We can't get away from it.
Yeah, exactly. Every time I walk by my office, I'm like, oh, should I pop in and do this? Oh, should I pop in and do that? And like I try to set hours, but it's so hard. Like it's so hard. And I also like, I don't like to sit at the computer for too long. So it's like, okay, so my plan is like, okay, I'll empty the dishwasher and then I'll go sit down and do some work. And then I'll get up and fold laundry and then I'll go sit down and do work. And then I'll get up and, vacuum. And then like I'm always going back and forth between like standing and sitting because I don't have one of those stand sit
Oh
desks.
yeah.
So like it's just, I don't know. It's definitely difficult being at home.
I don't have a Fitbit or an Apple Watch for that reason, because I literally sit for a living. And it was so depressing. It was like, get up and move. I'm like, what am I supposed to say to my clients? Sorry, I need to do like jumping jacks between your eyelash appointment.
That is so funny. Yeah, it's really difficult. It definitely is. And like I've been having like back issues for a while, completely random. They have no idea what's causing it. But like that's one of the reasons that I have to like keep getting up and walking around. But half the time it's like my watch is going off and I'm like, shut up,
Yeah.
stop it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think too, like scheduling it in as entrepreneurs too, like we have our schedules, like schedule in time to get outside. Like I admire you so much in the sense of like realizing what your body needs, because I think a lot of us just put it on the back burner.
But yeah, it's definitely like being aware of your body. Like once you're aware of it, you cannot say no to it. Basically, like it's just the urges that you feel are just so strong, and it's like, you know what, I need self-care today. I've pushed it too hard, or I haven't nourished myself. Or there's even sometimes like if we've gone away for the holidays or something and we've eaten at my mother-in-law's or my mom's place or whatever all weekend, and I come home and my body is craving vegetables. Like if we go, like we do road trips and stuff like that out to like Chicago or Newfoundland or whatever. And by the time we get back, I'm like, oh my God, I need vegetables. I just need them so much. It's like, it's almost like addiction, like an addiction. Yeah.
Oh,
It's like people are saying they need sugar and I'm like, I need vegetables.
oh yeah, I remember when we were traveling, like when we were going, where were we? Oh, we were going to Fiji, and we were on flights for like, we were in transit for like over 20 hours or something crazy. And I was like, I just want, as soon as we got to the resort, I'm like, I just want a salad. I just need a salad, because we're eating protein food. It had so much sodium in it. I tried to drink as much water as I can, but then I have to go to the bathroom nonstop on the flight. So I was like, oh my gosh, all I want is a salad. I need like some type of nutrients other than like bread and salted soups or whatever this stuff is. So I think we have to listen to our bodies and what it needs too, right?
Oh my God, like it's very clear. Like your body really speaks to you and tells you what you need to do. We're just too busy or too stressed or we're too in like set in our ways to actually listen to it. So if you actually take the time to step back, and that's why like sometimes it's so important to go see a professional, a nutritionist, a naturopath, whoever, because they can actually point out areas
Mm-hmm.
like blind spots that you don't even know are there, right?
Yeah.
So you find out the blind spots, and then all of a sudden you've opened your eyes, and it's like, oh my goodness, like why did I let myself do that for so long? It's like my body was clearly telling me something was wrong, and I just ignored it. I thought, oh, I don't have time to deal with this, or this is normal, or it'll go away eventually, or whatever. But it's like once you've actually opened your eyes to that, it's just shocking. Like people are just completely blown away that they had lived that long with whatever symptom it was. It's
And
crazy.
people normally, correct me if I'm wrong, but normally wait until it gets to that point.
Exactly. And it's funny because my sister and I use her for like a motivational person because she like lifts me up. And we were talking the other day about yeah, like people don't think if the symptom isn't bad enough to go to your doctor, then don't worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
And like that is one of the biggest things that I'm trying to address. It's that you should feel good in your body all the time. It's like, yeah, you have the odd time, your ups and downs. Maybe it's your period, maybe you have the flu, maybe you overindulged or something. That's okay. But 90% of the time, you should feel so good in your body, right? And it's like, don't wait to go see the doctor. It's like either that's going to be too late or they're going to tell you, I don't see any issue. Just keep living with it, basically. And
Yeah.
that's not the way to live.
And I think too, like I look at how we were brought up. We were basically thrown outside all the time, right? And like come in when it was dark, or our parents would feed us lunch outside half the time, right? Like that's just how we were brought up, and we were never exposed to screens. Like I know for myself, I didn't get a cell phone until I was in grade 9, I think it was. Never had an iPad or any of that, and my mom was very good about controlling how much we had TV time. But I also look at the kids now. My heart goes out to all the parents out there with the online learning. Like for example, like I'm pretty young in the sense of I should be techie, but even setting up a Zoom call, like my hat goes off to all these parents of trying to work from home as well as figuring out their kids schedules with school and trying to go out grocery shopping with the pandemic and everything going on. It's a
It's a
lot.
very stressful time, right? And that like, and it's hard because yeah, like more stress has been added to so many people, not only just the anxiety around COVID, but not having your support systems, right? And like, yeah, the school, for instance, like not having that support system. It's just, it shows you how important it is to, yeah, do self-care and like ADHD and such, like you got to understand that diet's definitely connected to those conditions.
Mm-hmm.
So like this is the time to kind of take control of that while you can, while you're exposed to it with your family being home,
Yeah.
and take this opportunity to, you know, I know I am not a parent, so I cannot speak to all the parents out there, but it's just take the opportunity to try and work in some learning around nutrition,
Yeah.
right? Or
Yeah.
healthy habits, like getting out and going for a walk with them, like incorporate them into your daily habits of exercise, right? Like you see so many times people doing like their yoga with their little kids and stuff. And I'm like, that is so amazing. Or like teaching like the deep breathing to their kids. It's like, that's phenomenal. Like those coping strategies that it's just instead of like, popping them in front of the TV or whatever it is, but like teaching them the coping strategies that are going to, let them thrive in like an increasingly stressful life. Like it's just crazy how stressful this world is becoming.
Exactly.
So yeah, coping strategies and just wellness. It's becoming like more and more a priority.
100%. So advice. What would be your advice you would share with someone or tell them?
Well, there's almost like three different things. So share it, like what I would tell my younger self. I don't think I would tell myself a thing because I would be so afraid that that would have like changed anything in my life. Like if it would have like, changed me from, experiencing my trauma, for instance. Like I would never have met my husband. I
Yeah.
probably never would have gone for nursing, and I wouldn't be a nutritionist right now. So not going to even touch myself. Like leave that alone. Like
I love that though.
don't tell her anything because I want her exactly where she is. Um, but anybody that's looking to get into, well, even just to become an entrepreneur or looking for a career, follow your passion. Like when I was younger, I had the passion to be a midwife, and I wanted to go to school for that. And I remember, bringing that to my family and my friends, and the response I got from them was, "Do you think it's popular? Like, do you think you're going to have a career? Are there enough job opportunities?" Right? And at that point, probably not. But by the time I graduated, yeah, I would have had an amazing job opportunity. Um, but I didn't follow that. And instead, I was like, okay, well, now I have to follow something that is going to make me money and that's going to secure my future. Yeah, that sucks. That really sucks. Yes, you have to take it into consideration, but do what you're passionate about. Like my husband and I both, we've tried different careers, and we always we quit the ones that we don't like. We don't waste our time because they're going to get us a lot of money. We quit and we find the one that works best for us. Like my husband had a job opportunity, paid him amazing money. He did 2 shifts. He hated it. Absolutely hated it. That's fine. I said, I don't want you doing it if you don't like it. Quit. That's fine. Like follow your passion and be happy. Like honestly, let happiness drive you, right? Because wherever happiness takes you, you're going to be doing it with your heart. You're going to be doing it with passion. You're going to be just better at your job because you're going to want to learn. You're going to want to help people. You're going to want to do whatever it is you're getting into. So, yeah, just follow your heart, follow your passion, and follow happiness.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
most important.
Yeah, I agree with you on like all of those points. Even the one about your younger self, that would be very similar to my answer at how I would respond as well. Because if I didn't do like pageants, for example, and something that I just like did at the whim, like I am not a pageant girl, like you know me, I'm pretty much a tomboy. But like that wasn't something that I ever considered or modeling or anything like that. And then it kind of got me into the industry I'm in. And if you told me that this was going to be how my life would have turned out when I was in public school or high school, I'd be like, what? Like, I'm glad there was literally every little thing that led up to where we are now. And I look at both you and I at the age, because we're the same age, I look at how, yes, we're doing well in our careers, but we're happy. We love doing what we do. And I think people can see that. And that's why you become successful, is because you enjoy it. People want to be part of that growing positive atmosphere you've created around your business.
Yeah. Yeah. Happiness. Like number one, like do what makes you happy. That's for sure. That guides every one of our decisions that Mac and I make together. It's led by happiness. Yeah, of course, there's financial gain that's important as well, but like as long as we're happy, like that's all that matters really.
Well, and I even know like with our decision moving up north again back to Muskoka, I like am realizing on so many different levels how John and I are happy. And I feel like it's getting out of that norm and what people expect, or wondering what people think of us, or thinking of what people think of your businesses or your decisions, and even having staff and different things that come up in your business, and learning to say no if it doesn't fit. Like what you said with Mac, for example, when he did those 2 shifts and he was like, yeah, this isn't for me.
Yeah.
You also want something you can wake up in the morning and enjoy. You love coming to work, right? You love showing up, being the best self, being yourself, I think is so important too within your career.
Yeah, and that's the fun thing about being an entrepreneur. Like running your own business, it's you, like you actually get to be you.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really weird feeling. Like I'm so used to just being me with my friends and family. And at work, like I know when I'm at the hospital nursing, I actually catch myself sometimes thinking, I'm like, is this me? Am I actually doing this? Like I become a nurse, you become like a very in charge, like your brain is just like totally turned on. And yeah, you're nursing, and that can definitely be your identity. I know it is my identity when I am at the hospital, but like, I don't know, it's just being able to choose everything
Oh, yeah.
and teach what you believe in. And I don't know, it's just it's a really cool feeling, and I can't wait to experience it more.
Well, and I think that's what I say to a lot of people that ask me, like, what do you think of being an entrepreneur? Plus, trust me, there's a lot of sleepless nights. There is a lot of stress and anxiety that comes with it. How
Yeah.
to cope with it? How to have like a sounding board? Like, I love that your sister is pretty much your sounding board, like what you were saying this morning, right? Like someone to vent and talk to, and kind of make you realize, like, everything's going to work out. Like everything's going to be fine. You're going to look back. I journal a lot too. I just write down lists of things, and I look back and I'm like, wow, that one thing that bothered me months ago, I haven't even thought about it or considered like how that would have impacted my future.
Mhm. Yeah, it's crazy. And like, if you want to be an entrepreneur, you need to have support. Like your support system has to be pretty solid, because it's like I called my sister, I don't know when it was, but at the beginning of starting my business, I called her and I was just like, what am I doing? Like, what the hell am I doing? I'm like, I am a nurse and a nutritionist. What am I doing trying to run a business? I'm like, am I stupid? Like, what have I gotten myself into? Right. And I talked to her, I talked to my husband, and now I'm like, this is freaking awesome. Right. And now I'm motivated and I'm like, oh, I can't wait to do this. I can't wait to share this with my clients. I can't wait to, get involved. And it flips at the, drop of a hat. But you really need that support system in order to flip you over. And you need to be like mentally tough.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's so, I don't know. You can definitely be really hard on yourself. And like journaling, for instance, huge tool. Like journaling's amazing, right? Like, it's just, I know people don't do it enough, but it's so powerful. It's like, simply, what did I do today? What was I proud of? What could I improve on? Like, just simply addressing those, right? Like, was I a good person today? How can I improve?
And
Like, I don't
affirmation,
know. It's just,
like having that affirmation, but also having that reminder, because even calling your sister, she's like your reminder. Even I feel like people have this idea of what other people are saying about them or thinking, and like I try to surround myself with like-minded people, and that's why these calls, I've literally been on like cloud nine just talking to all these female entrepreneurs, because I think even though we're all in different industries, we all think very similar, right? And that's why I like love jumping on a call, especially because I haven't seen you in 2 years. Clearly, like, what the heck? Where's the time going? So
I know.
I just want to say thank you so much, Megan. This was like awesome. I think a lot of people are going to take a lot from this, whether it was the nutritional side as well as the entrepreneur, the nursing side. There's so many great things. And I feel like we'll probably do another like follow-up call and maybe have some questions where people can comment if they have other things that they want to directly ask, maybe about nutrition in the winter or vitamins, something we could talk further like in depth with too.
Yeah, definitely. It would be fun.
Yeah, awesome. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much. And